Hey everyone. Hi Virgo. Okay, so happy birthday for those of you who haven't had it and those of you who have. Anyone new to Opal Oracle, welcome. Anyone returning, hi, of course. Okay, so mid-month, now till whenever the messages are worked through. Okay, so it took me your yearly reading, right? I was like, meditation was important. What was it called? Center, enter, center, enter. But just taking like a couple minutes a day to settle yourself, to have an intention around something, particularly mentally, right? Ruled by Mercury, is important. I was told to use this particular deck. One second. Three of Cups on the bottom. But the thing was, is I actually used these cards recently, and I generally use them for personal readings, and there was just a lot of, I could tell there was just a lot of residual energy in these cards, okay? And your card did pop up a lot, the Hermit. There was actually a really long story that played out, and it's not that the story wouldn't have been relative to you, but it's kind of like, it's not an ignorance of the situation, whatever that situation used to be or yesterday was, but it's more about like, what's the fresh new energy? Okay, what's the new, what's the new thing that's happening that's really exciting, I heard. Okay, so let's see what you got for cards. Wow, positive. Interesting. Wow. Okay. These cards are really beautiful, actually. I like stylized human interpretations of tarot. It's interesting to me, seeing people's perception of, obviously it based off of something, some sort of original process, right? But then making it their own. So that's interesting. You could be doing that during this time. The vibration that you're emitting is the 10 of Pentacles. I like that these kids are in a treehouse. For some inner child work, I would say if a treehouse was important or something like that, when you spent time with your siblings, maybe you'll have good memories about that in some sort of way. Or it'll bring you to a time that you'll, so that you can, I heard, release it. This also shows me, because it's the 10 of Pentacles and there's, again, kids and things in it, I'm sensing it as well, you're emitting a kind of frequency that's actually pretty happy and stable, like if you want to, right? It is a very, this is a family card for some of you. You could be sending a lot of love to your family, whether they're here or past. I heard a lot of appreciation for it. I also see this as an acceptance of, in a way, of childhood kind of inner memories, okay? Like when you do think back, if and whenever you do, there's not, I sense that there's more of a happiness about it. Okay? A more freedom and stability within that energy. It's not affecting you, at least during this time, as much, particularly the way it's affecting your physical life, right? Or your money, or your home, etc. Your job. Now, one second. The thing that you're learning about when it comes to, because there's a section, I came up with this spread, and it expresses like kind of it can show what you need to be a little bit more receptive to. Technically receiving. And it's looking over at what will happen if you become more receptive to that energy. What the next, what will come if that happens. And I see that you move through something. If you can be more receptive to moving through it. This is also something seeing something about like magic, you know what I mean? Just in the sense that anything's possible, right? There are no doors in life. That's a construct, in a way. What a door represents is an opening or a closing. Really, when we break down the smaller openings, and I see that once you move through something and you figure out how to do it for yourself, then you gain great strength and ability and energy, okay? To actually close some sort of door. That's the main point here. And that's what you're supposed to be working on, is closing. There's a door that needs to be closed. Okay? And locked. But before you give the key back to the landlord or whatever, you gotta like go in there and make sure you cared for it, right? Like sweep it, clean it out, open up all the windows. You know what I mean? Like do all those kinds of things. I heard, and then say your goodbyes and leave the key on the counter, I heard you don't need that key anymore. Or that key isn't needed anymore. You do kind of want to fight it a little bit. Like your mind wants to fight it. Energetically, you're like, I am so ready. Like even your actions are expressing it, that you're really ready for something. You're really ready to close out whatever this psychological cycle is, attached to memory, to family, to children, to childhood, to whatever. And how that affects your physical life, okay, day to day. All the doors here are closing, okay? Oops, this one's also closing. That person actually conjured this to close. In one way we can look at this. We can also see it as, well, I see it in two ways. Because this represents how you can create more in this physical life, which actually this is the Ace of Wands. It's a lot of creation happening. And it's interesting that when you're more, what you need to be more receptive to is the Two of Wands, and then to manifest more in this life is the Ace of Wands. So there's something about getting, I heard getting rid of, but like, because I guess in a way closing a door is saying no to something, right? But if you're saying no, then you're saying yes to this other one. And maybe that's what it is you figure out that, again, there is nothing stopping you from doing whatever it is that you want to do and wherever it is that you want to go, whatever it is that you want to create your life to be. You know, you want to be stable, able, healthy, wealthy, whatever, you can have that. Okay, you have to emit that energy, though, and I see that you are, which is positive. You know, healthy overall. You rule the house of health. Then I see that with that, you get great strength. Mars is now direct, which is very helpful for energy. And then through that, then you can conjure opening a brand new door. Okay, because I think part of the, I'm going to change my whole world, I'm going to figure this out, is, again, about closing something. Like with the Two of Wands, usually, for those of you who like tarot and been around, it's like one of them's behind him, right? And the other one he's hanging on to, and he's looking out into the sea, conjuring, you know, considering what it is he wants his world to be. The truth of his life, their life, you know? I also see a way that you can manifest more in this world, in the physical realm also, the 3D world, is to close that door and to say hallelujah about it. You know what I mean? Just like, yes. We like, chick, chick, you know, the keys are on the counter, you lock the door, you know, as soon as you shut that door, you know, you did your, what we call in the film industry, like dummy check. I used to be so offended by that term. But, because I was like, you call me a fucking dummy? Of course I checked it. But anyway, before you do that, just checking everything, cleaning everything, and then when you shut it, it's just like, you know, there's always a little bit of sadness when we close the door. But there's also so much rejoice in the fact of like what can be. And the thing is this is your message from your higher self or from spirit. For some of you, if you don't quite understand what I'm saying, or if it seems like you've been trying to do this and it's not really working, well then maybe seeking counsel could be helpful for you, okay? Seeing a tarot reader or an astrologer or something like that. You know, or at very least, you know, reading your own cards, or, you know, practicing your own sensitivities and abilities that are, I heard, magical properties that can help you. You know, I was just talking to Scorpio before you, which, so therefore you have something to learn from them, as well as from Cancer. But it's like, they rule gemstones, okay? And I sense, I've said this before, but I feel like a lot of Virgos in this life are going to be sun signs. Either were Scorpios before, at least the ones that connect with this channel, or they'll be Scorpios in their next life. So there's something important about connecting to the information that Scorpio knows, right? About desire, about intimacy, about gemstones, about what's underground, like understanding the beauty and the importance of the worth of that, okay? And the worth of digging, okay? And of course, integrity, right? I see that the more that you have fun, and the more that you laugh, and the more that you just have a good time with your friends, you know, or build those kinds of communities and friendships that you have, and the love and adoration that you have for others, and the love of adoration you have for yourself, I see that you gain all kinds of keys to all kinds of doors. You know what I mean? There's actually 4 doors here, and there's 4 keys here. Interesting. I mean, specifically for some of you, all four, and or if these four doors are one door, it has to do with your mom. But it can just also have to do with your heart, okay? And how that relates to how safe your heart feels, how stable the energy of your heart is, and also having the energy of your heart be what the energy that you're emitting into the world, okay? Happy inner child is happy adult self. You know what I mean? Happy adult self is happy children of your own, etc. I'm not saying everybody doesn't have their bad days. I'm just saying that it's reflective, you know? I see that painting, and this has come up before, but painting is very therapeutic, okay? And wonderful and creative and meditative, and it'll help you also work through any kind of spiritual understandings or awakenings that you're going through mentally or energetically, okay? It'll also show you some sort of strength that you have. That'll also help you close doors. I mean, you know, there's supposedly a proven fact where it's kind of like vision boards, which I know some people think those are cheesy, but, you know, since we can see and things like that, it makes a difference. But say on your walls you have, like, pictures of, say you're in a relationship, and then you have on one wall, like, pictures of all the good times that you had, your relationship will be better for that, okay? It's like a remembrance of sorts. You don't really want those in your bedroom, more in other, like, communal parts of the house, right, where there's others that are around. The bedroom is more of an intimate space. But as another example, like, if you have just, say, pictures of, like, one person, like, solo on the wall, well, then it shows, like, kind of independence. It also shows a singularity, right? But if there's, again, multiple people, then that expresses a different kind of energy that you're emitting, right? Also, it depends on, like, what colors they are and things like that. You know, the thing is, too, is this door that you're closing is actually a pretty heavy door, okay? And no one else can do it for you. Only you can do it for yourself, and it will take work, okay? I see for some of you by December, 2 months or so from now, Sagittarius time, particularly from October to December, I see that you'll be sussing out a lot about look, you get a brand new door. You'll be sussing out a lot about who is the key holder. Because I think that's maybe what it is a little bit, is maybe the inner child doesn't, because inner children don't get keys, right, necessarily to the house, right, because something else has to an adult has to take care of it. So there's something about hold on a second. I have, like, a feeling of, like, worry in my heart right now. It feels like that kind of energy. But I think it's everything that you've been through, and not necessarily what's happening. It's what has happened is what's making this energy, but it's affecting this present moment. Okay, so I see that it's really important for you to and it has to do with the health of your own self-worth, okay? But I see that you already, I heard that you're, for those of you who create, wherever you're creative, it's already expressed, and it is an expression of, as I mentioned, your freedom. Okay, it's a way to achieve freedom. Absolutely. Absolutely. I see that you really shouldn't be worried about work. If you've been putting in the work, if you've been studying and learning and accepting and growing and expanding and what have you, don't worry about any, I heard naysayers, okay? Or like people that, don't worry about what other people think that aren't on your team. Okay, you already know, you're an adult, who's on your team and who's not. Don't worry about the folks that aren't on your team. I see that it's important for you to, yes, be aware of who you can trust and build on those relationships. All for one and one for all, right? Who would you trust to go in this maze with, right? And didn't we talk about this sword in the stone? I feel like someone pulled it out. That's interesting. Your message from source too, from God, is also like you're going to be very sensitive and in tune during this time. Not only understanding like where you're at, again, about which doors need to be closed, how to close them, having patience in that, right? Actually, you're supposed to look at this for a second. But this also shows me your dreams will be strong. So keeping a dream journal, for those of you who don't have one, would help you to understand also. It could also give you creative ideas, which is really awesome. I do see wearing specific kind of colors. I see green is really helpful for you. You look good in green anyway. Blue. For some of you, red. Pink, I see too. Cream also. There's nothing wrong with asking others for help on how to open a door either, how to get through something, right? You know, right? Say you've been through a lot. Say you're going through something that you don't understand, right? There's something that kind of frightens you in a way, or you're really uncertain about it. Like you understand it, but it's kind of like you're still stuck to it. It's like, well, ask other people, right? Because that's what Gemini, also ruled by your planet Mercury, does all the time. They ask folks, like, you know, one of the ways that they kind of learn is you know, they'll go up to somebody and be like, so what would you do in this scenario? You know, so they're kind of expressing like what they're going through, but in a roundabout way, so that it seems a little less personable, so that there can be more learned from it. Okay, it's like a different way to go about finding out knowledge and like how people function in their emotions, particularly when it comes to opening and closing things. Okay, because everyone goes about it kind of a different way. And then from there, you can, I heard, analyze, organize, digest, and accept and move on. You have to wait for something until April. Yeah, it's something in April, like the cord is cut. Completely. Dunzo. It does have something to do with Mars also. For some of you, this is about your mother. For others of you, it's about your father. But either way, that's just the way that the wheel was supposed to go round. That timeline, okay? That timeline. Let's choose one from the wild unknowns to find your animal, okay? Let's see here. Well, just for fun, the Fool did pop out, which is a cute little baby bird. But let's see. Stronger intention, Virgo. The Lion. Awesome. Let me write that down. This is technically a lion, not a lioness, and it is African. That mane. But lion, whatever you connect to. I know that the male lion is a strong protector. They're there for good reason. I see something about the waxing moon also, which, let me see when that's happening. Hold on. One sec. Say about the 20th. No, is that right? Hold on a second. No, that's about the 10th or the 11th. That's when we go, well, it's going to be past then. So I guess that would be the following month. But the lion anyway is powerful, okay? They're very loyal. They take care of themselves though, like, you know, pleasure-wise. Whether that's just laying in the grass or laying in the sun or whatever it needs to do, right? Whatever it finds emotionally fulfilling, in a way, it does that. I see that sleeping also, which the message from your higher spirit with the high priestess is, to me it can be also mean like, well, it's dreams, so it's kind of napping and resting and things like that. Resting your shadow side, okay? being more in tune with it, so that, yeah, the waxing moon is very important. Wait a second. One second, please. No, it's the end of the month is what's important. Okay. So I guess that would be right after the full moon, till about the second is in October is the following cycle. So something about the end of the month will help you feel more solid, and realizing that, like, elevation and wherever it is that you're going, whether it's during the day or at nighttime. I see specifically for you both of them, but nighttime is important. Like, that's also when the owl flies, so it's like just being okay with that as the natural part of it. Like, know that there's always a light in the, it only takes one spark to make dark room not dark anymore, right? You have the power to make the, both these fire here, enlightenment, etc. So you'll figure something out the end of the month. Cool. All right. Well, I love you. Hope this helped. And anyone who is still here, thank you so much for all your support and amazing intellectual, philosophical, deep heart, mind, soul, worded expression. It's really wonderful. And of course, anyone who's donated and all the awesome people I'm working with, thank you. It's such a blessing. Anyway, see you soon. Peace.